Hello and welcome to another video and welcome to Workout Wednesdays. Every Wednesday we're posting about the exact ways that you should be working out to maximise your progression in every session. So in today's video, like I said in the title, we're going to be talking about the best cardio to lose fat. So this is choosing between HIIT and LISS. HIIT being high intensity interval training and LISS being low intensity steady state cardio. Now you're asking, what is HIIT, what is LISS? I'll tell you. HIIT is alternating between max effort bouts and then very, very low effort bouts. So for example, if you're on a bike, you might do 10 to 30 seconds of all out maximal effort sprints, and then for a minute or two you'll do very low intensity to recover from that high intensity sprint. So now LISS, low intensity steady state cardio, that's basically just the classic going on a run, going on a bike ride. Generally the intensity stays the same throughout the whole duration of the bike ride or run or whatever you're doing, but this intensity is going to be slightly higher than that low intensity period that you're going to be doing in the HIIT cardio. If you enjoy this type of content and want to see more tips and tricks on improving your fitness, improving your workouts, improving everything to do with improving yourself, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe and click that bell button. You can do that now, that'll be excellent, that'll be perfect to help the channel and help yourself get towards them fitness goals. So now that you know what each type of cardio is, we'll talk about the benefits and negatives of each one so that you can decide what the best type of cardio is for you. So starting off with HIIT, the first positive is that it may be able to burn more calories in the time that you're actually working out for. So say for example you're doing high intensity training for 20 minutes compared to low intensity cardio for 20 minutes. It's likely that you're going to burn a few more calories in that high intensity training, but honestly it's going to be very, very minimal. This is because of the fact that after you do that really, really high intensity work, you then go into a very, very low intensity for a longer period of time. So in the end that'll probably level out to somewhere near that intensity that you're doing for the longer duration cardio. So the amount of calories that you're burning in the session is going to be about the same. It might be a little bit higher for that high intensity. Benefit number two is that high intensity tends to be a lot less boring, if you ask me. When I'm doing like my rugby training, it's much more interesting than just going on a run down the lane or whatever you're doing. I find when I'm doing low intensity cardio, often I start thinking about it too much, it gets into my head, and then I'm like, Christ, I'm only halfway through, how am I going to do this? But if I'm doing high intensity cardio, I know that I've just got to get through that large burst of high intensity work, and then I've got a little bit of a rest. So that variety sort of makes it a little bit more interesting for me. So a benefit of it being less boring is that you're going to want to do it more, so you're more likely to be consistent with your cardio work. So if you did find your cardio really boring, it's likely you might do it once in the week and then you're going to be done really for the rest of the week because you just can't be bothered with it anymore. So doing something that you enjoy is going to be a lot more beneficial in the long run. So there is a claim with high intensity interval training that you'll get something called an afterburn effect. Or that's what it's called in the fitness industry at the minute. However, this is simply just not really worth looking at. So the afterburn effect is actually this thing called EPOC, which is excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. It's a bit of a mouthful. So this is basically the extra oxygen that you're taking in after you work out to try and replenish them oxygen stores that you've used in that high intensity training. So there's a claim that this post-exercise afterburn effect is going to keep you burning calories for another 28, 48 hours. There's loads of claims out there. But looking at the evidence, it's actually probably only going to burn 40, 50 calories after exercise, which realistically is nothing. It's like a third of a banana. It's not really worth counting. So on to negatives of high intensity training. The first and massive negative is that it's going to be really, really taxing for your body and for your central nervous system. So especially if you're not used to this high intensity interval training, you're going to feel really, really sore afterwards, and then that might hinder your actual gym sessions, your weightlifting sessions, which could lead to a greater decrease in muscle mass when you're on the cut. Another weakness of this HIIT training, because of the extra fatigue that you're getting from HIIT, is you can only really do it maybe once or twice a week. If you're doing this properly and you really actually are going for that high intensity maximal effort, if you do it any more than once or twice per week, it's going to really start to hinder on your weightlifting training. Whereas the low intensity cardio, you're going to be able to recover from it much easier, because you're getting a lot less muscle damage from the low intensity cardio. So therefore you can do it more often and not have to worry about it hindering your training in the gym. So as a conclusion for HIIT, if you are wanting to do HIIT, you find it more interesting, so your adherence is better, I would advise doing it once or twice per week if you're doing extra training in the gym. If you're not, you can do it more than that, but you've just got to try to control that fatigue, bit of fatigue management, so that you're definitely not overdoing it with that cardio. Furthermore, if you are training, I'd recommend choosing a type of HIIT cardio that's going to be not too stressful on the joints. So for example, if you're doing HIIT running more than twice a week, you might start feeling some knee pain or some hip pain, especially if you run on roads. Whereas if you're just doing it on a bike, you're not really going to have any issues with the joints. So it's just going to keep you a little bit healthier and a little bit less sore in the long run. So on to LISS training. A great thing about LISS training, like I was saying, opposite for the HIIT, you're going to get a lot less fatigue. So it's going to be much easier to recover from and be able to do your regular gym sessions. So you're going to get a little bit less muscle mass lost in the long run. If you're able to control your fatigue in the HIIT, this won't be an issue, but it's definitely something to think about. One issue with low intensity steady state cardio is the fact that it takes a long time. A lot of people are going to struggle to fit it into their schedules. There's a lot of people that are going to be really busy with the jobs, with school, whatever you're doing, so it might be hard to fit into your schedule, especially if you're getting home from work late at night, it's dark outside. You're not going to want to go outside for a run or a cycle, so it might require some specialist equipment such as a stationary bike or a treadmill in your house, which obviously not many people have. Another benefit of low intensity steady state cardio is that it's much easier to overload. So just like your weight training, you're going to want to try and get better and better at this type of cardio every time. So if you're doing HIIT cardio, you can only really increase the amount of time that you're doing that really high intensity work, and eventually you'll get to a point maybe 3 or 4 minutes max, and after that it's just going to be almost impossible to really push yourself at that highest intensity for that amount of time. So a good thing about low intensity cardio is that you can just simply get better and better each time by increasing the speed that you're running or cycling at. So for example, if you're on a bike, a stationary bike, you'll be able to see how many watts you're producing, the average wattage for that session. So the next time you can try and put out more power for that session, so you know you're improving. And with that improvement, you're going to gradually get better at burning more and more calories in that period of time that you're going to be doing your cardio for. So all in all, I think the most important thing to consider when you're doing your cardio is to just choose your favourite cardio. Especially for the beginners in the cardio game, you're going to really want to just choose your favourite, and then you're going to be able to stick to it for a much longer time. If you're doing something you don't enjoy, you might get 1 or 2 weeks in, and then realistically it's going to be difficult to have the motivation and willpower to carry on doing that thing that you don't enjoy. So for example, I really enjoy cycling, so for my cardio I prefer to do cycling than running. Running generally hurts my knees, hurts my hips, so cycling is going to be a much better option for me. Another thing to consider is that you want to make sure it fits into your schedule. Now if you're doing something, like I said, if you're wanting to do the low intensity cardio, but you're working from 8 AM in the morning to, I don't know, 7, 8 PM at night, it's going to be really difficult to fit that cardio in and still have the energy to do it. So in this case, it might be best for you to start your cardio at 7:15 in the morning, do half an hour, 20 minutes maybe, of high intensity cardio, and then you've got your exercise in for the day. So thank you very much for watching. I hope this was informative for you and that you now have a good insight into what cardio you should be doing. If you're not doing any cardio, I would really recommend that you start doing some. It's just going to make you much more healthy. It's going to help improve the amount of work that you can do in the gym with your weightlifting, and overall it's just going to be a great thing to do to improve your fitness. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.